Okay, this is the critique of the final speech, the big persuasion speech, not the final speech, but the persuasion speech. And please listen carefully because I'm combining two classes, so listen for your fantasy name. We'll get right into it. Giovanna gave a speech on organic eating. First of all, it's the next to the last speech in the class, and you still have the wrong camera shot. Your hands are bouncing all over the place when you're talking, and you're hitting your papers in the process, and that is extremely distracting. You need to work on your vocal energy. You cannot just talk like this all the way through and expect anyone to be persuaded by anything you say. Work on vocal energy. Make sure we hear each word you say clearly. That's really important. Again, you've got to follow directions. You had no visual. You had only one speech outline. You had only a speech outline, no speaker outline. You used only 3 sources in your outline, and it was very hard to spot the sources in your actual speech. And frankly, you sounded like you couldn't wait to get done. And again, energy, energy, energy. All right, Callio, your speech was on the 21st Century Scholar Program. Eye contact, I've got it noted here. It was poor eye contact. You can't do that. And also, when you do your visual aids, notice the picture here. It's horizontal. It's not vertical. So you've got to think in terms of how people see things when you do your visual aid. Also, differences between going and not going to college, and it just ended. So I don't know. The speech ends abruptly on a visual with no summary of any kind in your speech. You had no audience on camera, and I've never seen this in all the years I've been doing this. You had what sounded like a recording of 6 voices. You like pushed a button and I heard 6 voices. Never saw them, but I heard 6 voices. I hope you understand that is just totally unacceptable. It sounds like you were intent. No, I'm sorry. You had a source that said that rates were going through the roof, and it was Indiana.gov. There was seldom any eye contact. Your flow is highly disjointed. Your video edit is simply not allowed. And the visual angle is highly confusing and hard to read. Watch your you-knows and okays. And you only had 2 citations in your bibliography and only 1 outline, and it was not labeled. So lots of things that need to be worked on. Next up is Doberman. You spoke about rainforests. Look at the camera. That's the audience to start. So when you start your speech, be looking at the audience. If you're so hung up that you have to start your speech down here like this, you've already lost your audience, and especially in a persuasive speech. Why do you laugh during some serious parts of your speech? Audiences do not like that. And anytime it appears that there's some kind of an inside thing going on that your audience does not know about, it's highly insulting. You have some logic problems in sentence construction. I heard no sources cited in your speech, and there weren't enough in your speech outline, and there was no visual. Please, 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 in college, read the directions. Next up is Pumpkin. You talked about colonoscopy. Your speech was way short in terms of what was supposed to be there, and your bibliography was short of the number of required sources. You're actually reading your speech. Because you're reading, are not showing any energy. You seem to have some problems handling your papers. I'm not hearing any sources in your speech. You are not effective in your advocacy based on reading, and reading with no energy. You only have 2 sources in your bibliography and no visuals. I could say other things, but I think we'll just leave it at that. That was Pumpkin. Next up is Sequata, and you spoke about sexually explicit material, and again, the wrong camera shot. You know, at the end of the course, that should never happen. You only had a preparation outline, no speech outline. You had duplication on 2 of your written sources. You had good eye contact. You have a nice approach. Your best speech yet. Way to go. You always want to show improvement. It was a bit long, and there was no speech outline, but beside that, it was a very well done speech. Sequata. Next up is Harley. You spoke about animal adoption. This was a good speech. What, though, is your credibility? Get it up front. You have great storytelling ability. Well done on empathy and emotion. I like the MasterCard analogy that you used. That was a nice tone in your speech. It was conversational and compassionate. And you are obviously an advocate for the adoption, and that you yourself do that too. Watch, you have that slight tisk, that sound that you make when you talk. You had a nice smile at the end, and you did very well representing the adoption program. This was a very, very well done speech. Nice job. Next up is, I didn't write down the fantasy name, but this was on homelessness. This was Gabby. And so, Gabby, a great opening sequence. You grab the audience in your opening sequence. You need to explain what CAP is. You don't just say something and expect the audience knows what that is. Work on your eye contact. It's just a little bit better so that you're talking more to the audience. It was an excellent speech, well presented. Watch your vocalized pauses. Those are the uhs and the ands and the and-uhs and things like that. Ums. All right. Without a doubt, this was your greatest speech to date. A great job on establishing your credibility. I don't know what else I could say other than in a class like this, we're looking for steady improvement. And this is representative of exactly the kind of thing we're looking at. All right? We don't expect people to come up here and do that. It's a speech class. All right? A lot of you don't even want to be in this class. But if you come in here and you build, that's what we're looking for. And I'm not looking for gargantuan leaps. I'm just looking for, do you incorporate what we've been talking about from the beginning of the class to the end of the class? And Gabby, very well done. Next up is Skittles. Skittles, you spoke about puppy mills, and you need to not start talking so soon after you walk into the picture. Walk in, get your composure, and then start. I only have a speech outline. You start by not looking at the camera, just your notes. You're reading way too much of the speech. And you need to be speaking from your speaker notes. If you did that, then you wouldn't be reading kind of like word for word what you've written down. You also seem to be somewhat frenetic. Like blah, 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 blah. You can't focus. You're moving so fast from this point to this point to this point. All right, smooth out the flow. Kind of make it, you got little speed bumps somewheres. Smooth out those speed bumps so you're not hitting a big bump sometimes. Watch your vocalized pauses, and you were short on your time limit. Be real careful of that. But this was one of your better speeches. Again, you come up like this. This pays off. Way to go. And finally, we have Juju. Juju spoke about phonics in reading, and I don't know what to say other than you blew me away with not only your speech, but your style, your speaking skills, your abilities, all of that. In fact, on the rubric, everything's an excellent. There's nothing on here but an excellent. Your skill and abilities, along with your research and your persuasiveness, nailed this speech. It was a little long, okay? But when I looked at how long it was before I listened to it, I thought, oh, wow. When I listened to it, it didn't even seem to be half as long as it actually was. That's the mark of a good speaker. When you can say something and you can keep the interest of the audience throughout, from every step as you go is something more they want to listen to, and especially in a persuasive speech. That's the way to go. All right. You need to edit yourself a little bit, though, on the length, but the way you did it, I mean, I'm in conflict. Edit yourself, but hey, I didn't really notice it in the speech. Yeah, that's one of those things that as a speech teacher, it's like, okay, how do I handle this one? But overall, wow. Identify the school system you refer to in your speech. And the reason I say that is because you don't want to have something that sounds like all schools are this way when it's a specific school. And it doesn't diminish your point that some schools are doing word recognition as opposed to phonic teaching of reading. It does narrow it down that, and to give you a little ammunition, there was a period of time in this country when all schools did new math. But we're not all on phonics versus word recognition nowadays. And I will agree with you that word recognition is a horrible way to teach reading. This is as good a speech as it can possibly be. Your passion and commitment is clear. You could teach this class based on what you've done. You have a light tisk, watch that. Word recognition is not good for any student. That's my comment. You are a skilled public speaker. Keep it up. And an excellent ending. And again, I wrote, it didn't even seem like 12 minutes. Okay. That's it. You have your special occasion speech. This class is over. When you get all of that in, there's still some points to be gained. Don't leave any of them on the table. There has been improvement for those of you that stayed with this class. I see signs that, maybe you were here when we started, but let me get my finger in here. You were here when we started and you've come up. And that's what it's all about. If you can do that in every class you take in college, you're a real winner. Thank you for being a part of this class, and have a great summer and have great grades and success in all your classes in Ivy Tech. Thank you for letting me share some time with you this semester. Have a good one.